politics, community happenings, and more. Today I am discussing my favorite books, both physical copies and Audible books. And these are the top 10 books for success for entrepreneurs. So I'm going to start with one of my all-time favorites, and this is like an oldie but goodie. It's a quick read, and it's Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. This book really focuses on change and being able to see the writing on the wall. And it's a really cool, fun, short story. It's about 60 pages or so, where it takes you through a story of two mice and their chase for cheese. And when the cheese was gone, they didn't see that it was being depleted. They didn't see that that change was happening. They just went every day through the same maze, thinking that the cheese was always going to be there. And once the cheese ran out, the two mice had to make a decision. And one mice had to decide if they were going to go search for more cheese, or if they were just going to stay there and hope that new cheese would show up. Well, as you would know, one mice made a decision to move forward, while the other mice decided to stay and wait for more cheese to show up, which it never did. So this is a really good book. No matter what it is that you're going through in life or business, understand change. Change is going to happen. Understand how to read the writing on the wall, whether it's change within your organization, change within our environment and our economy and our world, as we've seen so many interruptions as of late, or just change within yourself personally as you personally grow through different phases in your life. Understand that when the cheese is moved, that there's always a way to go find new cheese. And that's what the one mice did in this book, and why it's so one of my favorites. And it's a good reminder to read every couple of years. So I keep this one on my shelf for sure. The next book that I really truly enjoy is Think and Grow Rich. Early on in my entrepreneurial journey, one of my mentors introduced me to this book, and I read it cover to cover because it really covers many aspects when you're talking about thinking and growing rich. And this is not just about money. It's really about various principles in life and in business, from desire, faith, auto-suggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decisions, persistence, the power of masterminding, and the mystery of sexual transmutation, the subconscious mind, the brain, the sixth sense, and so much more. But it really also dives into the law of attraction. And this book really, one of my favorite parts of this book and stories is not having a plan B. And it talks about a story of the gold rush and how this company was digging for gold, and they dug and dug and dug and just was like, we're not going to hit gold. So they gave up, they left all their equipment, and another company came right behind them, used their equipment, and dug literally 1 foot, 12 inches, struck gold. And what that means is that had they just kind of stuck with it, had they continued to believe, had they continued to do the work and see themselves having the gold, but also putting in the work and continue to just dig a little deeper, they would have struck gold. Instead of resolving to their plan B, had they just stuck to plan A, they would have struck gold, and the company behind them would not have come and taken all the work that they had done and got the gold. So really good book, Think and Grow Rich. Lots of great principles in here. And again, another one of my favorites that I read every couple of years just to remind myself, or I go in and I look at different passages, especially on the masterminding part. So if you've never done masterminding or been a part of a mastermind group, this is a great way to understand and get started with it. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There's also a version of Think and Grow Rich by Dennis Kimbrough, which is Think and Grow Rich, the Black Choice, which I have on Audible, and I love that one as well because it really takes you through the history of business greats, Black business greats, Black excellence, and gives a different version of the story of Think and Grow Rich, but still have the same great principles in the book. Now, another book, this is for my women business owners out there. The Girl's Guide to Building a $1 Million Business by Susan Solovic. and had an opportunity to meet her a couple of years ago at an event here in West Palm Beach. And I started reading this book when I was like 24. And it really gives a lot of great tips for business owners and entrepreneurs, but particularly women business owners, especially when it comes to networking. It highlights a lot of resources, national organizations that have like local chapters that you can connect with. It goes into a lot of detail about just management. It goes into, how to start, how to think big and think bold, creating your vision, developing your team, your marketing strategies, business growth strategies, and of course, like I said, resources at the end of the book. So another great book for women entrepreneurs out there. Again, that's The Girl's Guide to Building a $1 Million Business by Susan Wilson Sullivan. And just a great book. Thank you, Susan, for writing this amazing book. Oh, one of my favorite speakers, authors. If you do not know the great Walter Bond, former NBA player, this book, Swim. And if you've never heard Walter Bond speak, then you are missing out. Walter Bond is an amazing speaker, motivational speaker. But this book, Swim, How a Shark, a Suckerfish, and a Parasite Teach You Leadership and Mentoring and Next Level Success. I actually took this book with me on vacation a couple years back and read it from cover to cover. And I couldn't put it down. Just like Who Moved My Cheese, which is like a great story of two mice. This was a great story about a fishing trip and learning about the shark versus the suckerfish versus the parasite and what role they play. But really, the shark and just things like, sharks always move forward. They never stop swimming, because if they stop swimming, they're gonna die. And how the suckerfish and the parasite, how they all rely on each other. And it's just a really good book to take you to the next level. One of the things in here, you have to keep working until you master the mindset of a shark and operate like one naturally every day. Great quote. And it also goes on to say, once you master the sacred six and live them, that's when you swim. So you definitely want to check out this book by one of my favorite persons, Mr. Walter Bond, Swim. From a physical hard copy, of course, I have to highlight No Glory Without a Story, where yours truly is one of the 15 authors of this amazing book, where we really tell you about how we stepped out on faith and birthed the business that we have currently. And these entrepreneurs, there's 15 entrepreneurs, really share their stories, their triumphs, their successes, and just the raw, uncut truth. Particularly in my chapter, which is chapter 7, one of my favorite numbers. It's also my birthday number. I talk about starting a business from strategy to execution, and I go through the beginning phases all the way through how to make something out of nothing, how to survive during tough times. I had to survive during a recession and so many other things happening during that time. But then also how I stepped up and said, enough is enough. I'm not gonna just keep taking scraps and small bits of pieces of opportunity. I'm gonna step out for large contracts and to become a prime contractor. I do a lot of government work. And so really stepping out on faith. And I also highlight the my plan A story, and how I didn't have a plan B. And then I end it with different actions that you can take as an entrepreneur, from ideation to having faith in the 4 R's, which includes relationships, readiness, resilience, and relentlessness. And so, great book of amazing other authors in here as well. So make sure you pick up your copy of No Glory Without a Story, and you can get your copy at AnneMarieSorrell.com. Now, those are my physical hard copy books that I absolutely love, and again, I keep them on my shelf. But for those of us who are also audio driven people, where we may not have time or want to sit and flip through a book, we want to listen on the go or listen as we work, well, I have some favorites on Audible that I also listen to. Scaling Up, and it's by Vern Harnish, and it really talks about people, strategy, and execution, and cash. And one of my favorite quotes is, grow where you're planted. And when I heard that in this book, I was like, where am I planted as a company? Where's my company planted? And what that meant to me was, from a strategy standpoint, was let me evaluate where do most of my customers come from, because that means I've planted a seed there and it definitely has grown. How do I continue to grow that particular customer base? Looking at our portfolio as a business and the types of companies or the projects that we've worked on that have been successful, how do I continue to grow in those areas that I've planted and have been fruitful? Even as I expand in other areas, how do I create those companion expansion opportunities? The wealth choice. And I am a big advocate for building wealth, especially wealth amongst the Black community. And I do a conference every year, the National Black Economic Conference, because wealth starts with economic development. And first you got to learn how to develop your own economics, from how you handle your money and manage your money, to how you save, to how you invest, what you own, whether it's owning a business or owning real estate or stocks, whatever that may be. There's several pillars of wealth, and Dr. Dennis Kimbrough really takes you through what wealth creation looks like and the wealth choice, because it really is a choice. We have a choice every day on how we plan to build wealth for ourselves, our family, and those in our community. And so it really is a choice. And so every day you choose how you spend your money, what you invest your money in, and all those different pieces, how you build generational wealth for you and your family. It's a choice. And so Dr. Dennis Kimbrough really takes you through a journey of the wealth choice. In this book, itself, the last chapter really stuck with me, because it's easier said than done what this chapter talks about. And it says, I expect nothing and I accept everything. And I just want you to think about those words. I expect nothing and I accept everything. Now that's hard, because we naturally have expectations. We have expectations of ourselves. We have expectations of our team. We have expectations of our loved ones or our lovers or our spouses or our family. And sometimes we don't accept the outcomes. Sometimes people don't even know the expectations we have of them. And we get disappointed and we get hurt and we get in our feelings when those expectations are not met, or we in business want to just kind of throw in the towel sometimes when the expectations are not met. So learning to expect nothing but accept everything, accept that it is what it is. One of my favorite phrases, it is what it is. It is what it is. Being in that moment, accepting what the cards are. Not saying that you shouldn't do anything about it, but just accepting it. Acceptance is tough, but it is necessary. Thank you for tuning in to Tea with Anne-Marie. Be sure to download, if you like this video, to download the guide to Tools to be a Better Leader and a More Audacious Leader. Make sure you click the like button, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.